Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes, episode 14, titled Intelligence. I chose this because I'm often bothered by the lack of intelligence, I sense, in myself and others. The ability to comprehend things, think critically, and whatnot. Which brings up the other problem of having too much and being too aware, leading to pain, suffering. Ignorance is bliss, as the saying goes. So, I guess there's probably some alternating to be done in that respect. I was going to say some middle ground to be found, but I think the extremes of intelligence have value. I found myself wanting to talk about this because I made the mistake of browsing forums online, namely MMO Champion, and there's a lot to be said here about definitions, understanding, also the amount of information given to getting too caught up here. The amount of information provided in order to elicit a response. So on forums, you don't know much about the people you're talking to. An avatar, a catchphrase, what they've said in the post you're replying to, maybe a few other posts if you check their profile. Not much, anyways. So, people be throwing around judgments, and I just got triggered while reading through a thread, as is prone to happen if you're browsing online, especially with how much people keep contained in themselves. I mean, me too. So I wanted to rant about the. I saw this guy call another guy racist, and I'm like, how can you even make that statement based off what you read? And that just, you know, and of course I've done similar things many times. Sure, probably more than most. I don't know about calling people racist, but calling them stupid and stuff. Sure. Noobs. So my lack of intelligence bothers me. There's hardly a day that goes by where I don't have some type of thought related to how humanity is doomed due to our lack of collective intelligence. It's also complacency in some respect. So I have this thought that humanity is doomed whenever I see someone doing something that I deem to be ridiculously stupid or ignorant. I think it's mostly in what people say, and of course, I say stupid things. Everything I speak is reflected through my perception. So no matter what I say, I didn't have much planned out to say besides this, and I'm getting lost on where I want to go. I don't have a point I'm trying to make. So I don't know what steps to take here. Intelligence. Definitions. I think a lot is based off the definition someone has for a word. Because I often see that the reason people are having an argument is because they have different definitions of words, of certain words. I mean, I know this has happened to me. I'm trying to recall a specific situation to give as an example. I'm caught on a certain other memory right now where I was talking to my mom about being curious to see what would have happened if I made a different choice. And she was like, "Oh, yeah, you mean regret?" And to this day, I'm still not sure. I don't think the word is regret exactly, because it's just a curiosity rather than a want to try something different. It's not like I minded this sort of specific universe I found myself in due to that choice. I was just curious what it would happen if I made the other choice. My mom asked. So that's like one, like maybe my mom could apply that definition to the word. Oh, knocked over my empty cup. We're okay though. That's one example of differing definitions, because my mom might still apply that word and I might still apply the word regret to wanting to see a different result, the result of a different choice. So there's that. But in politics, and I think everything is politics, really, even if most people are like, "Oh, I don't talk about politics," and I'm like, I think everything is politics, so no matter what you talk about. But I so they're like, in order to have a proper argument, you need to agree upon definitions. And I think the reason most people have arguments is because they have different definitions of words, which I believe, I guess, will always be the case, because otherwise everything would be the same. It'd just be one. It would just be one. That's the entirety of it. Wow, it wouldn't even be one. That's too much for what it would be. It would be. I'm getting closer. It would be. So that's a good question. What the fundamental piece of this universe is? I think it's probability. That's the fundamental building block of the universe. Sorry, I just realized the fan is probably picking up. So, probability being the fundamental piece, just a big old mess of probabilities. It's not COVID, I promise. Now I wish I had water in that empty cup as well. So, do I think a probability is the fundamental piece of our universe? No, I think it's more like, I think everything is 50-50. Either it happens or it doesn't. But there's also the in-between. And that, I think, is the fundamental piece of that's my current understanding of a fundamental piece of this universe, is a yes, no, or in between. I played a lot of Hearthstone, and in that game, it's either everything is 50-50. If you want to draw the best card in your deck, it's a card playing game. It's 50-50 whether you get your 1 out of 28. Well, it'd be more like 1 out of 20 probably. The 1 out of 20 chance to draw the card you need. You'd think it's a 5% chance, but it's actually 50-50 because it either happens or it doesn't. The two possible outcomes. Or in between. Maybe you never get to that card. Maybe your computer unplugs. And then what happened? You don't know. This is in between. So I guess that's my current understanding of the universe. As ridiculous as that might be. Call it my big toe, I guess, for now. So that's a fun block to put in place, I guess. So for the last 8 minutes of this, let me get on a more definite track. What do I want to talk about? Intelligence. Yeah, and just gotta let go of my hate. No. The grudges. Intelligence. So, definitions are important to even if you have separate definitions, how can you even make a measure of intelligence? Right? So, everything's biased from a self perspective, or everything's biased by a self perspective. And then you come to other sentient beings or objects, which other sentient beings may include the entirety of everything else. I do think we're probably in some type of simulation, because I agree with Elon Musk that just the probability that we're in the base reality is so low. Or it's just 50-50. So maybe there's a good chance that we are in base reality. An optimist will take that point of view then. Given those odds, they might take that point of view given the 1 in infinity odds that we're base reality. But a realist could, given a 50-50 chance that this is base reality, reasonably bet on this being base reality. And if I'm going to say that everything is 50-50, then I should take that bet. Interesting. I hadn't come upon that thought yet. I like it. I'll give that some more thought. And that's the benefit of this podcast right there. In one benefit. Okay, so let me expound upon this being base reality then, because I had just taken the assumption that it's so likely we're not in base reality. But now it could be so fun to consider that this is. Nothing really changes though. Besides trying to solve whether we are in base reality or not. Okay. So, then either way, the best thing is to just go on regardless, the same, right? Well, besides trying to break out, because if you're not in base reality, you want to get out of base reality. So you need some type of check. But given the constraints of the universe, would you ever be able to check and confirm whether you're in base reality? Elon Musk has probably had this conversation for hours upon hours upon hours. And that's why he... yeah, he's a pretty smart guy. Smarter than me. And works harder. What a combo. So his thing was that every conversation turned to the simulation debate, and so he made the decision just not to talk about it, which is kind of the conclusion I just came to as well. Like I said, I agree with him again, I guess. So, given that, let's move back to intelligence, which I don't know, my opinion is that the simulation already happened, given the likely course of events. It already seems most likely to me that machines will pass humans in any measurable level of intelligence. That's the most likely outcome I see right now. So if time is not quite as linear as we perceive it, then that's kind of already happened. Even if all the current machines that would outperform humans in every given aspect don't currently exist at this exact moment. Doesn't mean they won't in the future. For us. I haven't drank enough water. It's bothering me. I'll make it though. Self-inflicted harm here. So, to wrap up, don't get bothered by everything you read online. It's only words. Deal with it or don't deal with it. Hardly matters. And that brings me to the thing that everything is connected. So it really fucking bothers me when anybody's like, oh, how does what I'm doing affect you? And it's like, the entire universe is connected, you idiot. Come on. Wake up. Jesus Christ. If I believe in him, I took his name in vain right there. Okay. See you tomorrow.